Welcome back to the Healing Energy Collective, a space for mindfulness, embodiment, and healing. I'm Scarlett, and I'm so grateful you're here. Today's episode is one that comes up all the time in my work with clients. And honestly, it's something I think almost everyone struggles with at some point in their life. It's a fear that if we allow ourselves to feel our emotions, they will overwhelm us. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You start feeling sadness and immediately try to distract yourself. You feel anxiety and begin analyzing it, trying to think your way out of it. You feel anger and push it down because you're afraid of what might happen if you let it out. Or maybe you've watched someone in your life become completely consumed by their emotions and you've told yourself, I don't want to be like that. What I hear from clients all the time is some variation of, if I start crying, I won't stop. If I let myself feel the grief, I'll fall apart. If I acknowledge how angry I am, I'll lose control. If I sit with my anxiety, it'll get worse. And while these fears make complete sense, they're often based on a misunderstanding of what emotions actually are. Many of us were never taught how to have a healthy relationship with emotions. Instead, we learned one of two extremes. Some of us learned to suppress. We became logical, productive, independent. We learned to think our way through everything. We intellectualized our experiences. We explained our feelings instead of feeling them. Others learned to become swept away by emotions. The feeling became the entire reality. If they felt anxious, everything was dangerous. If they felt rejected, they were unlovable. If they felt sad, it seemed like life would always feel that way. Neither extreme creates freedom. This is where I love the concept of wise mind from Dialectical Behavior Therapy. DBT teaches that we all have different ways of processing our experiences. One is emotion mind. Emotion mind is when feelings drive the entire experience. When we're in emotion mind, what we feel becomes what we believe. If I feel abandoned, I assume I'll always be abandoned. If I feel anxious, I assume something terrible is going to happen. If I feel rejected, I assume nobody cares about me. Emotion mind isn't bad, it's important. Our emotions carry information. They tell us about our needs, values, boundaries, and experiences. The problem isn't having emotions. The problem is when emotions become the only source of information. On the other side is reasonable mind. Reasonable mind relies on facts, analysis, logic, planning, and problem solving. This mode is incredibly useful. It helps us organize our lives, it helps us make decisions, it helps us think critically. But many people get stuck here too. They analyze their emotions instead of experiencing them. They explain away their pain. They tell themselves things like, it wasn't that bad. I shouldn't feel this way. Other people have it worse. Just get over it. The challenge with reasonable mind is that emotions don't disappear. simply because we've explained them. The body still keeps the score. The nervous system still responds. The feelings still want acknowledgement. And this is where wise mind comes in. Wise mind is the integration of both. It's the place where emotion and reason meet. Wise mind can say, yes, I'm anxious right now, and I can still make thoughtful decisions. Yes, I'm heartbroken, and I know this feeling won't last forever. Yes, I'm angry, and I can express that anger skillfully. Yes, this hurts, and I can care for myself through it. Wise mind doesn't deny emotion. It also doesn't become consumed by emotion. It makes room for both truth and perspective. One of the biggest misconceptions about emotions is that feeling them makes them bigger. Often the opposite is true. When emotions are acknowledged, they tend to move. When they are resisted, suppressed, argued with, or judged, they often linger. Imagine holding a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but eventually it takes effort. Eventually it pushes back. Eventually it bursts to the surface. Many people spend years doing this with sadness, grief, anger, disappointment, and fear. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted. Mindfulness offers a different approach. Instead of becoming the emotion, we become the observer of the emotion. Instead of saying, I am anxious, we begin to say, anxiety is here, or I am aware of the anxiety. Instead of I am broken, we say there is pain here. Instead of fighting the feeling, we acknowledge it. We create space around it. We breathe with it. We allow it. Not because we enjoy it, not because we want it to stay, but because resistance often creates more suffering than the feeling itself. One of the practices I often encourage is simply naming what is present. Take a breath, pause, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Not what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Not just searching for the challenging emotions. Maybe there's something lighter here too, like joy or gratitude. What am I feeling? Can I name it? Can I locate it in my body? Can I stay with it for just one breath longer? This is how we begin building capacity, not by forcing ourselves to feel everything at once, not by drowning in emotion and not by avoiding emotion, but by gradually learning that feelings can move through us without overtaking us. The goal isn't to become calm all the time. The goal isn't to never feel anxious, angry, sad, or overwhelmed. The goal is to trust that when emotions arise, you have the capacity to be with them, that they can visit without taking over the entire house, that you can feel deeply without losing yourself. And perhaps that's what healing really is, not becoming emotionless, not becoming perfectly regulated, but developing a relationship with yourself where every feeling is welcome and none of them have to run the show. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this is something you struggle with, learning to feel your emotions without becoming overwhelmed, this is exactly the kind of work I support clients with through therapy, mindfulness, breath work, and somatic healing practices. You don't have to figure it out alone. Take a deep breath, be gentle with yourself, and remember that your emotions are not the enemy. They're simply messengers asking to be heard.